Hi gang, Rob here. It is the afternoon of 29 September 2025. A spectacular Monday afternoon in Northeast Indiana. We got 86 degrees and dusty sunshine with a few very small but very happy little clouds floating by. When I say dusty, oh my. It is harvest time in the heartland. The beans are coming in. The corn's coming in. The air is filled with bean dust and maybe a little corn dust. My allergies are raging. If I sneeze during this video, I apologize in advance. But what a beautiful day. I actually decided I was going to close my windows in the truck and turn the air on, not because I was too hot, but just to get some filtered air into my nostrils. Wow. So the reason I'm coming on today, and no pocket dumping, I'll do a wrist check for you. Got the big old Pro-Trek, whatever that is, I don't know. I can read it. But I got the Mini Crooked River in the left front pocket clipped, and I think I still got the 74 Heartland clip in the bottom of the pocket. So here's why I'm coming on today. And man, this is an important topic. The topic's probably more important than the video will be good. And I've been thinking about this for years. Like all of my years since I've been a semi-adult voter. And there's a problem with how we vote. It's probably been going on longer than this, but if I could point to one event in the history of American politics that opened the floodgates for this mentality, this is going to be hard for me to say, but this is the fault of one Ronaldus Magnus, Ronald Wilson Reagan, greatest president of the 20th century, hands down, bar none. But he said, when running for president in 1980 against Jimmy Carter, he posed a question to the American electorate, to each voter. He asked that we evaluate our vote in that presidential election based on this question. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Now, politically, it was brilliant. Why? Jimmy Carter was a really nice man. He was a moral man. He was a Christian man. He was a gentle man. He loved his country. The only problem was he was a horrible president. He wasn't particularly a strong leader. His presidency left some national fear and anxiety about our military capability in the height of the Cold War. Economically, President Carter's policies were disastrous. But he was a really nice guy. So if you're Reagan, you're not going to attack him on character or likability or morality or his faith. You had to go directly to the heart of performance. And his worst area of performance was in the economy. At least as much as a president can affect the economy in 4 years. So, did that question help get Ronald Reagan elected? Absolutely. The problem is the fact that a presidential candidate who became one of the most seminal figures of the 20th century in American history made it legitimate to vote that way, to decide how you're going to vote based on whether you individually are better off than you were 4 years ago. Anybody else see a problem here? I do. And the reason I'm thinking about this enough this week to make a video is because on one of my Facebook posts on my Rob Bixby page, it was probably some pro-Trump post that I made, and someone commented rather lengthily about his individual economic situation in the segment of the market that he makes his living in, and things are not going well for him. And I think it was a pocket of negative impact of tariffs, if I remember correctly. Okay, I'll acknowledge that's possible. I'm not gonna minimize the difficulty that this gentleman's having with his finances because of policies of the 47th President of the United States. And I don't mind inventing. But here's my question for you. Is that how you vote? And if so, is it right for you to vote that way? I would contend it's not. And it's not how I vote, or why I vote, for whom I vote. See, I believe that I was born and raised in the greatest country to ever exist on the face of this earth. And I believe it got that way in large part because of the brilliance and the strength of our founders, who devised a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And they drafted the greatest governing document in the history of civilization, the United States Constitution. So I believe, given those facts, that it's my responsibility, because upon my birth I was charged with governing myself along with all of you, that I need to know what that Constitution says. I need to know what those founders meant when they wrote it by researching other things they happened to write down, some of which collected and preserved as the Federalist Papers. I need to know what made those guys tick, why they thought the way they did, and I need to understand the gift that they gave me. So when I cast a vote, whether it's for a local or state office or a national office, like the presidency, I have a responsibility to those founders, to my God, to whom I'm accountable in all areas of my life, to His glory, and to all of you. I'm accountable to all of you to take those founding principles, dust off that Constitution, and vote for each candidate based on how faithful I believe he or she is to those things. Now, while it's true that politicians and elected officials can, by their decisions, affect our economy, the fact of the matter is, boys and girls, our elected officials do not exist to make each of us individual Americans financially successful. If the markets change and we're impacted negatively, we either need to suck less or get into a different market. This is a free market economy, my friends. We compete, each one of us. We compete for a paycheck. And I don't mean to minimize proper management of our economy by our elected officials, or poor economic management by those same people. They do have an effect. But they can never be our primary purpose for casting votes for elected officials. We got to preserve the gift. And the gift is our system of governance and the Constitution that specifies it. So be politically active, but don't base it on your own your own personal desires. That's not how a country like this endures. A country like ours endures because we understand the responsibilities that came with the gifts we were given. So if you don't have one, get you a pocket copy of the United States Constitution and Declaration of Independence. Get on the Google, search for the Federalist Papers, and read them. Oh, and by the way, while you're at it, pay special attention to the parts that talk about the true and the living God. Because as the one agnostic, perhaps atheist of the bunch, cautioned the rest of those God-fearing men as they argued with each other, if you men of God don't start acting like it, we got a big problem. And that's a loose paraphrase. I don't think that's how Benjamin Franklin actually spoke. But his point was this: we're designing a system of laws and self-governance that are largely based on principles you guys believe that apparently, according to you, were given to you by a God I don't even believe in. But I do see the pragmatic benefits of his system. It's a pretty good one. That's why I'm still here. How about y'all follow what he told you to do? And by the way, it wasn't just Franklin who believed this. There were several who understood with great trepidation as they designed this constitutional republic we live in, that democracy, while essential for a free people in large part, could not be unchecked by the wisdom of a collective of elected people. That's why we don't vote in a popular fashion on every single decision our government has to make. And part of the reason the Republican element of our constitutional design is so heavy-handed is because our founders knew that a democracy and a self-governing people could not be wielded properly and in an enduring fashion by people who didn't fear God. I just thought I'd throw that in at the end. It might have something to do with some of the problems we're having here in the 21st century in this republic. So, next time you open a newspaper or you get on a website and you look at a slate of candidates for an election, you could keep doing it the way you're doing it. How's that working, by the way? Or you could do what I do. I compare the platforms and the conduct and the character of those people to the Constitution, and I vote accordingly. Go and do likewise. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Remember, the word is sharp. I shall talk to you soon.